It's almost midnight, Watchers. Are you ready to join the Midnight Watchers to talk about their favorite strange and scary movies?
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Koji,
This is Quentin.
Hi, it's Jennifer.
and we are here, and we're on episode number 8. I always have to look at that. I always forget what episode we're at. But we just recorded another episode, so I'm not going to ask you how you guys are doing. I assume you guys are good, so we're going to just go move on from that. But this week we watched a movie called We Are What We Are. And I'm not going to pronounce the Spanish name because then I'll sound like somebody who doesn't speak Spanish, which I'm not. And let me read you a little bit about the movie. When his father dies unexpectedly, Alfred must step up and become the man of the house, providing for his mother and siblings by putting food on the table. This would be a tough obligation for any teenager to shoulder, but things are worse for Alfredo because of his family's special diet, human flesh. Now Alfredo must stalk and kidnap victims for his cannibal family's ritualistic murders without drawing the notice of police. It's a gruesome task that may destroy him. This was released in 2011. In America, it was released in 2011. Director Jorge Michael Grau, a screenplay by the same man. And so there we go. This is the movie. And I think Quentin, you chose the movie. So why don't you tell us a little bit about why you wanted to see it?
I heard about this movie for a while, and then I just started. I watched it originally the first time on YouTube, believe it or not, because I couldn't get a hold of the movie, and somehow someone posted a copy of it, and I thought, wow, that's a really fun movie. I've never really seen a movie like that. And then I just rewatched it recently for the podcast, and really enjoyed it a lot more because I was able to see more on HD. The last file I saw was not very good, but even from watching the YouTube version, which was a little bit blurry and stuff, I still really thought it's a really excellent movie. I just thought it was one of the best movies out of Mexico in 10 years. To ask for a while, because I've never seen Mexican cinema. Like the last one I saw was probably like Water for Chocolate, right? That was in the 90s, and it's definitely like it's a new voice. You know, it went to Cannes. It was at the Directors Fortnight, I believe. So definitely, it's a very interesting movie. I think what's interesting, they actually just made the U.S. remade, which I didn't quite like because they changed the two boys into girls, and which completely changed the whole dynamic of the situation. Because I think one of the interesting part about the film is really about like all these people who are marginalized, for the prostitutes, the cannibals, the gay guy, the lead guy turns out to be gay, and how all these marginalized identities are, trying to kind of like save themselves from this weird kind of like society, right? So there wasn't really anybody in the movie that's kind of normal. Even the cops were kind of like bad cops in a way, right? Because they wanted to get these cannibals on their own so that they could score, right? And then that obviously ended up not to be that worked very well.
And I should have mentioned that this movie, I saw it on Hulu, so you could also see it on Hulu. But Jennifer, what did you think about this movie?
I also saw it on Hulu. I really loved how slow this movie was. It was just so beautifully shot, and there was not really a score even until the very end. It was so he worked with just like the coloring and the location, that house and those streets in Mexico. It looked like it was Mexico City. It must have been shot. I know the director's from there. So it was just, I love the way it was shot, and the overall directorial style, so slow, really just, it wasn't even really graphic, right? Till like the end, till you actually see the ritual, part of the ritual happen. There isn't even that much flesh eating, right?
I guess they weren't really. I guess you think that they actually eat humans, but they don't. They eat regular food, right? It's just they eat it for ritual. You don't know. It's kind of like a weird religious kind of thing that they believe in. Yeah. So I thought it was very interesting the way that whole family culture was being portrayed and teased out. And
Jennifer, you said that you love the slowness of it, but I was super bored by the slow. I kept wondering what's going on. I wanted I wanted something to happen more. I think maybe I'm just, again, I always, the problem with this podcast is I always feel I'm not as sophisticated as you guys, because I'm just like, come on, you know, like I came here to see people being eaten, and nobody's being eaten at this point. And but I did like the marginalized community subpart. I did recognize that everything that they were going after were people that were on the outskirts of kind of civilization. But it was also weird because the mom didn't want them to eat gay people, right? And they didn't want to eat prostitutes because they wanted, quote, I think, normal people or something. I don't know.
Because it's sort of, that's sort of about like how, even though, you know, you're a cannibal, at the same time you're still being, because, you know, Mexico is very Christian, right? It's very Catholic in a way. So they obviously, even the mom is a cannibal. She doesn't want to eat, like, she doesn't, oh, we can't eat a whore, or we can't eat. But it's kind of interesting because it is about the whole younger generation trying to rebel against the older generation, because the girl is the one guy said, you know what, just go hunt a horse so easy. The dad does it all the time. And the mom says, oh, you know, so there's something kind of weird about this whole dynamic. The mom, you know, the mom being the older generation authority figure, trying to impose something else to this new generation. At the end, the kid just thought, oh, okay, I'm kind of gay and I'm kind of cute and I can go pick up somebody and bring him home to be eaten. And that, of course, like turns also the other way. That's kind of cool, I thought.
Did you think the guy was cute?
Which guy? I think the straight brother was cute.
Really?
But there's some homoerotic. That's definitely, because at the end, even though the shot where they died and they would just kind of die together, so there's that, even that kind of homoerotic thing between the brothers, right? But the second brother is, because of the one brother is straight because one brother was trying to molest the female corpse, right? Rather than trying to chop her up, or molest the girl before she died or something. And then I didn't think the movie was slow at all because I was engaged, because I usually, because I watched, because I think a lot is a drama, because you cannot set up horror without the drama, without, like, you know, making people care about these characters, because they're so out there, like, you know, and you actually should making the whole movie from their point of view, which is very different from a traditional horror film, which would be making it from you know, from like The Hills Have Eyes, you know, which is basically about cannibals, but it's from the family point of view, right? But this is actually from the cannibals' family point of view. So I thought it's interesting, and you can just tell that the director is really talking about this sort of like perspective marginality within Mexico society, whether you're being marginalized religiously, whether you might be being marginalized as an LGBTQ, or even the mother is very marginalized, because you look at the Mexican culture is very, it's a very male chauvinistic culture, right? So even the mother herself has to force herself to become this authoritarian figure, but not very successfully, right? That's the kind of tragedy about these people.
Jennifer, what did you think?
Yeah, thank you. I love that. Yeah, really the commentary on the family structure in Mexico. But one thing I wanted to bring up with you guys was, why do you think it was remade so soon? Because when I first heard about the movie, I had got the two confused, like a couple years ago, and I didn't realize, oh wait, there was actually two, and they were only made a few years apart. And the other movies, we've done a couple remakes here on Midnight Watchers, right? We've reviewed some remakes. The Crazies and Rabid were both remade 40 years later. So why is it that this movie they wanted to? What do you guys think was the reason for that?
Well, because this was Spanish, right? And Americans don't like to watch subtitled movies. So they had to make a movie right away. And whereas the other movies were in English already, and then they were like, and people had forgotten about it. So they kind of went back and to re-look at those movies and remake them.
But that is mostly the Hollywood trend. It's just, they just pick up like a foreign movie and try to remake it, because that's the thing now. So I think they were the new version, I think, was for Fox Search. The new version was done by Fox Searchlight, and I think they were trying to bury the old version, but then the old version was picked up by IFC Midnight, right? I think it's IFC Midnight, and then they, but cannibal movies never does any well anyway. So it's really dumb for anyone to think that, oh, we're going to remake a cannibal movie, it's actually going to do well, because nobody wants to go see cannibal movies in general.
Why
as
don't they
a
do?
rule.
Why don't they do well?
It's just they don't. You name one major Hollywood movie that is a cannibal movie that did well. Like eating Raoul didn't do really well. It was 1976. Then Ravished. It's about these group of like. It's about a group of that was considered a very good movie, but still it did nothing at the box office. 20th Century Fox made it. It's about like these group of Confederate soldiers. They got cut off and they ended up having to eat each other, kind of thing. Is it Ravenish? Ravishman?
Ravenous or something.
Ravenous.
Yeah,
Ravenous. Yes.
I think I
It
saw
was.
that movie.
It was a pretty big movie. It's like a lot of big actors. 20th Century Fox again. So it just no cannibal movie does well in a mainstream setting. It's just not sexy. It's That's basically that's the Hollywood rule. You don't remake Hollywood. You don't make cannibal movies. Because they can't be mainstream.
Jennifer, do you like cannibal movies?
Yeah, I mean, we've done 2 cannibal movies already, and we're only like what 7, 8 episodes in. So I'm down with them because it's so taboo. It's so yeah, people don't talk about it, and it's not it's never really made fun of. It's just there's nothing, people don't treat it very lightheartedly or comedically. It's very, very taboo, I think. Just really dark corner.
Silence of the Lambs, I guess, but it's because Hannibal Lecter is I guess they have Hannibal.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And my favorite, Alive, but that's not a horror movie. That was a drama about a plane going down in the Andes, right? Do you guys remember that one where where the plane goes down and they start eating people because they're dying? But that's not the traditional cannibals like these guys. That was because they needed to eat and survive.
Wait, is that what happens in Ravenous, right? They end up.
Yeah, it's about a group of Confederate soldiers, and somehow I don't know why they started eating each other because there's no food or something.
Yeah,
but it was really well done though. It's a good movie, but didn't do well.
Yeah, no. What else about this movie? Yeah, my favorite parts about it was really just the way it was shot. It was just really the coloring, the lighting, the DP. So really, a nod to the director. I was trying to look him up and see what else he was doing. I think he's probably got more under his belt, but for the future, I look forward to seeing what else he will be doing. And
I like the ending a lot because the ending, it's sort of like a weird ending because the girl basically escapes from the hospital and then she goes back onto the market and she's kind of like just standing out there and she's looking and you're not sure if she's looking for someone to eat or she's looking for a family member, someone to regrow this cannibal family, right? And you see this kind of weird looking young guy walking by and looking at her. And then you end the movie. So that's I think what's brilliant about the movie. It sort of makes you question like, well, is she looking for a family member that would be a cannibal, or is she looking for someone to eat, right? And that's sort of like it's sort of like a great play on the typical horror movie kind of like ending where in Carrie, at the end of Carrie, it's like the hand comes out. It's just that kind of like play on that thing, but it becomes a kind of like cruising. So I almost feel the director is probably is gay because the idea of like that gaze, right? When you look, you're cruising as a gay man, you look around the crowd and you kind of see who looks back, kind of thing, and you're trying to see, are you guys? Can you be sexual partners, or are you gay and stuff like that? So that kind of gaze is really interesting. That how he reconfigured this kind of like heterosexual gaze into this cannibalistic family. I don't know what kind of gaze within the whole thing, and the gaze is a big idea in cinema criticism because of Laura Mulvey. It's like the cinema gaze, right? What is it? Is it a man? It's mostly a male gaze looking at a women's body, or is it a woman's gaze looking at a man's body? So that at the end, that movie that kind of reverses that because people complain about cinema where it's mostly a male gaze, where it's really men, you know, exploiting women's bodies and stuff like that, right? And that's the gaze. And this sort of like changes around, like this girl looking at this world and trying to find out, like, you know, who could be a cannibal, or, you know.
And on that note, that's really interesting, by the way, Quentin. I realized since this at the end, you're saying you don't know if the daughter or the sister, you know, is gazing for family or is she looking for her next ritual meal. And it's actually coming to me now as we're discussing it. When we're watching the movie, we're not really disgusted or mad at the family, right? We don't get like hateful towards them or disgusted. We like are sort of understanding and supportive of their cannibalistic ritual they have, because yeah, they're living, there's a little bit of a socio-political commentary there. You know, these people are living bottom of the barrel. They're at the farmer's market trying to sell fixed watches, and they're, you know, in poverty, and it just, they have, at least they have this in their family, this little secret ritual. That's what they have. And so you can't blame them for it, right? That's really something I'm just kind of realizing now that's really beautiful about the movie.
Oh, go ahead, Quentin.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say my favorite part is just the at the end when the mom ends up at the playground and she's surrounded by the prostitutes and they get street revenge. And I just thought that was awesome because, you know, a lot of times in these serial killer cases, the prostitutes knew whose car not to get into. They knew what was going on, and nobody ever listened to them. And obviously, they never could get justice for it. But you know, it's like a lot of times, it's like those are such a marginalized community that nobody really talks about. So I love that they got their revenge in this one movie.
But you know why the mother got killed by the prostitutes, right?
Because
you know why?
Well, they returned the body.
Because she returned the body because she was dumb. Because she was basically, she's looking down at these prostitutes and, oh my God, you guys are like, we don't even want you guys, don't even fuck with my sons, whatever, right? So that's why she got killed, because you thought because she was the first one to escape, right? So you thought she's the one that's going to continue this whole thing, but obviously she got stopped by the prostitutes.
I love that. That was my favorite part, or definitely where she's just like lying in the playground and she got beaten up or something.
But you don't see it though, which is kind of interesting because you see a lot of the killings actually off screen, but it's still kind of scary because, you know, I don't think there's that much blood, and even I think when they kill one of the cop, I'm not sure you remember that shot where the two boys were I forgot but the cop was chasing the girl into the kitchen. Then it comes back out, and then somebody took the knife and then killed the cop in the kitchen and comes back out. So that's some of the choreography is really brilliant in terms of like the mise en scène, I guess, what they call it.
Or Jennifer, do you have any final thoughts on this movie?
Final thoughts, I really recommend it. So great. Just really beautifully done. For people that can't stomach horror, I think this is a good movie, even with a really touchy subject, because yeah, not a lot of blood, not a lot of gore really, and it's really a story about family and sort of in a horror setting. So yeah, I think it's a really nice piece to come out of Mexico that people should watch.
And Quentin, what are your final thoughts on the movie?
I enjoyed it. I definitely recommend people seeing this one rather than the remake, because I think the remake totally messed it up. So that's why I don't remake Parasite. You know, that's a new thing. I don't remake Parasite, right? We don't want people.
Are they going to remake that movie?
No, they were just saying like the whole idea, like, you know, just don't. Hollywood just has a tradition of remaking foreign movies. You know, for example, you know, Force Majeure, the movie.
Yes.
Force Majeure was a movie. Was a Danish movie that just recently got remade by like who was a big comedy actor? Like two big comedy actors. They just remade the American version, but I guess they just released it, but it's not that great.
So they already made it and it's released, the new.
Yeah, so there's a new trend. It's just they grabbed like a foreign movie. Let's say, I think Force Majeure went to Cannes or something. You won anything, they immediately picked it up, and then they would just remake it with basically American actors.
Well, it's like Old Boy too, right? They remade Old Boy, and that was terrible.
It's terrible.
Actually, Spike Lee directed the remake. I was like, wow.
Wait, what? What about the remake?
Spike Lee directed it.
The
Yeah,
old boy.
right. I know. I mean, I don't even remember much anything about the remake because it's just, I don't know. It wasn't, who knows what, well, they do it because it was popular. They're just trying to make money. But the Parasite, yeah, aren't they supposedly making like a mini series or TV series of it, Koji? Like that's what I thought they had announced.
Or like a limited series. That makes sense. I don't think, I mean, because with a limited series, you're doing something, you have to do something different than just trying to remake the movie. I mean, you have to expand the story because it's like, what, like 6 to 8 episodes. So it's like 8 hours of content as opposed to a 2-hour movie. So I guess that's a little different at least.
I see. That's a good point. And I don't know. I think they were talking about, do we do it? Because I think Bong Joon-ho is going to be involved. So I don't know if like they're going to cast a Korean family, or they're going to cast some other kind of family. But and speaking in English, who knows? I don't know. They're talking about. But I know that Twitter and stuff, everybody was like, no, please don't touch this movie.
Yeah, but you know what was a good remake is, I think The Ring is a good remake of the original Ring, because the original Ring is actually very confusing. I'm not sure, and I don't know why all my friends got really scared of the original Ring, and I watched it. I couldn't figure out because apparently the mother has telekinetic power, the grandmother has telekinetic power. So the Ring, the remake of Ring, I thought was really smart, and they just did this one shot that just like, it's like Naomi Watts in the studio, and then this fly that comes out of a TV screen and flies onto her face. And I think that shot was really good in the way that it sort of explains this. It sort of viscerally explains this sort of like weird relationship in the Ring that I thought was successful. Where in the original was very convoluted a little bit, I thought.
Yeah, I didn't I don't know why people loved Ringu so much. I never really understood what, I mean, I liked it.
It was a very high concept thing, right? Basically,
Yeah.
because basically you get a call. What is it? You watch this video and you get a call in 7 days. No, you get a call and then it says 7 days and you die. So it's a high concept thing, and now everybody's redoing this whole ring formula, right?
Yep. All right. Well, this has been a great conversation around this movie. So thank you guys for joining me and for joining us. And please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast. This is something that we enjoy. We enjoy watching these kinds of movies. We enjoy talking about them. So we'd love to have you guys hear us. So please also join us on our Facebook, Instagram, and I think we have a Twitter page, although I haven't tweeted anything on it. But please tell us what movie you like us to watch, and also on Mondays please join us to see what we're going to watch, so you can watch it before we review it on Fridays. Quentin, Jennifer, do you guys have anything you want to say?
Yep. Well, see you guys next time. We'll have some more challenging movies.
And I just want to say thank you for those of you that are watching this and listening to this, since we have a video component, and reviews are awesome. And I know the sound quality isn't as good as our first, I guess, 2 episodes, but hopefully this is nice entertainment for your jog, your shelter-in-place outdoor jog and walk while you're sheltering in place. And then we'll be back in the studio very soon, I'm sure.
Yep. And the sound isn't obviously super great, but you guys will have to forgive us. Zoom. This is our Zoom call. So so thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys, and have a great night or day or whenever you're listening. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.